This is a truly extraordinary movie. One of the very rare films of the contemporary cinema that make you change after you see it, and that presents itself in a way that is unmissable. Uh, I, I read somewhere that you started the concept of this movie with the impulse of making a movie about trucks in the desert.
Yeah, I always have images at the beginning. There are several types of filmmakers. I'm a filmmaker of images. And I went through raves and I started to dance these images with electronic music, different kind of electronic music. And so I started developing the script like this. After, because I was living in Morocco, so I moved to a palm grove, and since the beginning in Morocco, I felt that I was a baby. I was 23 years old, and I was really impressed of the level of acceptation and attachment that the people had there. You know, they are surrounded by death, and so they practice death every day. You know, and I understood that I had to do the same in a way. So this film is part of my practice. You know, it's part of my this practice of making an ally of death, you know. And so the purpose that we had was to that we die watching the film in a way. I think that is a film that pushes you to die, to look inside in a way, I think.
I think that this is a movie of transcendence, and as such, it asks you to discard the notion that you might come into the movie with, and to see the path in a way that you don't expect to happen.
Like life, I think life is like this. You are starting the day on a comedy and suddenly you are on a tragedy, or you fall in love, or you fall depressed. I mean, in any case, I have the radical feeling that even if life shakes you sometimes, it's always for good, you know. In Morocco, in Muslim countries, they say that if God loves you, He breaks you. And and we wanted to do a film like this, you know, a film that could be shock therapy. And I don't know. Also, it says
I
that.
kind of think that every great movie is a shock therapy, isn't
Sorry?
it? I kind of think that every great movie is a shock therapy. It's, as the French would say, bouleversant, upside downing.
Yes, I mean, I'm not talking about Sirât. I'm theorizing with you, Luca. A great film is a film that suspends this. You know, that through the specific cinematic tools, the ontology of cinema, you know, sound, image, it's able to knock out the brain. You know, it's important this, but it takes too much space in front of a piece of art. So when you suspend this radio pirate, other level of perceptions emerge. And I don't know if that's happening with Sirât, but that was the intention, to provoke that the spectator watch the film with the skin.
When were you making the movie? You shot in Spain and you shot in Morocco. I guess you shot for like 8-9 weeks?
7 weeks.
7
3
weeks.
in Spain. The rave was made in Spain, and 4 in Morocco.
And did you left the door open to what was happening to you, to the movie, to the amazing characters and performers that you put together? Did the movie, did the path change in a way that you didn't expect by making it?
Not much. It's a big film with a lot of special effects, so it's a shooting really technique. You know, everything was really prepared. Me and my DOP, we knew how many shots, what kind of shots we made each sequence. You know. But I think we are people who loves reality, loves live people, you know, and all the time that we are shooting, we reconsider things. And after life, again, life doesn't give you what you are looking for. Life gives you what you need, and it's something, Luca, that we discover when we are editing. In the shooting, we are frustrated sometimes, you know, because we are not getting what we want, but suddenly when we are watching again the images, we are like, oh my God, it was perfect like this.
Yes.
So it's just cinema filmmaking is just the art of deal with the frustration of having more faith, you know, to accept that life is giving you what you really need, you know. And so I give you an example. We had a sequence that is the father who, after his errancy on the desert, he's totally destroyed. He doesn't have even ego. The life broke him. It's so painful what he's feeling. So he's on the floor, and the scene is that the ravers arrive on the trucks, and they have to take him. He says that there is only dirt there, and they go. It was planned to do on 4 shots. So suddenly we had a sandstorm.
Which happened to be...
It happened like this. And you know that when you are shooting and you are making extra hours, you have to ask the people. Yes. You have to be really polite and to ask them to make extra hours. It was so clear for all the team that what was happening was something, was a gift. You know, at this time we were not frustrated. We were like really excited of, wow, let's do the scene under these conditions. And we only needed 1 shot at the end. So that was a gift. The day after, we went to shoot again. 2 days after, we keep shooting. And the third day, they call us from the lab that was shot in film, so it had to be developed. They call us from the lab and they tell us, you have a problem with the lens. It's broken because it's not on focus, the image, you know. So we understood that this day that we had these images, who were saved from that scene, but the days after, they were...
So you really needed only the first day.
Yeah. So in a way, it's like this. Life sometimes give you, taking from you. You know, beauty has rules. If you want something, you have to get something, you know? Sacrificio.
Yes.
Sacrifice. To become sacred. Sacrifice.
Okay. But the images in the movie are so physical. You chose to shoot in 16 millimeters, if I'm not wrong, and you chose to create an image that has a almost tridimensionality to it, going in the opposite direction of contemporary idea of high definition. Mm-hmm. What was the thread of thought between you and Mauro Herse, your extraordinary director of photography, in terms of how to sculpt with the images and the light?
I think that first the key thing is that, what did you say, that the images are?
Tridimensional. Physical.
The images are alive. And why they are alive? An image is something really complex. At the beginning of all the process creatives, and that happened to you too, probably, we have images because we are connected, images that they are connected with our inconscient. You are connected with your inconscient, and you are connected with the collective inconscient. The problem is that in cinema it's so long, the process of script writing, the pre-production, the shooting is so long that the images arrive tired to the edition table. Why? Because filmmakers, we put too much intentions, too much rhetoric, too much ideas, too much brain to the images. Images, they are just instrumentalized to say something. And when you say something, when you want to say something too much, you don't say nothing. You don't evoke. You know, an image has layers of symbolism, universal archetype, sensoriality. You know, I mean, it's really complex what the amount of meanings that an image has. So that's the first thing.
And more
images
complicated.
Are alive. First, they are alive, they are organic, they are complex. And secondly, as you said, you were using the word sculpture. We were working with the most structural dimension of the image, When we talk about image, as the same thing with music and sound, we talk about the texture, about the grain, about the brilliance, the color, we love images, we love colors, we love these things, the shadows. It's our thing, and we are open. Obviously, in the shooting, we are open to reconsider what we thought before. In a way, we surrender to what is happening.
How much performance, and there are many extraordinary performances in the movie, kind of like already showed you the way as well. I think the movie has a great actor in Sergi López, and then you have a group of non-actors, or not that I know, that you found from reality, and you have a child actor or a child who plays, and there are even dogs. But everybody concur in the way in which the system of performance works to make something very seemingly and beautiful and astonishing to witness. Can you tell us about the process of conceiving the casting and then to put it together?
So we went to raves to make the casting. We bought a truck and we went. I was a little, but I made a team for the casting. Through raves, they were looking for these people. We started with 20 ravers. We were making retreats with rehearsals, 20, 10, and after we finished with 5. And they came to my home in Galicia. And I have time, I have space, so we took time to make rehearsals. They were with me like 1 month and a half. And so we were also watching films, talking about the film, going to the forest to work. I mean, Sergi López came also 1 week. So it's important. I think that any of them are really an actor, They doesn't have the instinct of being actor. But they have the truth, they have the fragility, They have this vulnerability that is so precious, So we were building a family, building confidence, that is so important to make that so extreme film.
Yeah, because I think one of the great motifs of the movie is the family, the creation of a new family, the family that in a way breaks you and then destroy you and then sustain you and makes you become. And at the end, the last ones remained of the family are heading to the south, I guess, to
Yeah, the immigration is not to the north, it's to the south.
It's to the south.
It's like a new world probably starting, I don't know. I trust in the family institution. I think it's well written, the family where we grow, but it's always a test, obviously, and I understand that for some people it's so painful, to really do this work, to accept, to honorate your ancestors, your family, it's tough. So I understand also that you have to build another family that doesn't judge you, and this is one of the things that I respect from rave culture, is that whoever you are, no matter where you come from, welcome, That is something that I also discover in Morocco or in traditional countries, that hospitality is a sign of civilization.
I guess Luis kind of starts his journey of grief by giving the burial to the two that have been killed by the explosions in the first place. That's a very important moment. You mentioned briefly before the music and the sound in this movie is another character in a way, and it brings another layer of transcendence and shock system to the viewer. How did you work with the composer of the music? And can you tell us about it?
So I first I was dancing these images in raves, so the music is really related with the image since the beginning. when I write, the way I write is really atmospheric, me and Santiago. The script is online through a website called Deadline. You can read it. It's 50 pages, and you will see there are a lot of descriptions of what we feel, you know, the atmospheres, the dust, the sound, not much dialogues. And so, and I had, in that version, there are no links, but always I put links from music that inspires me, you know. I have these references. So I started to make a casting, and I choose to work with David. What I needed is to make this trip between, you know, between the techno and this cathartic music through a more ambient and esoterical music. And Kangdin Ray is delicate and sensitive to do this, you know. He has a large sensitivity, musical sensitivity. And so another thing, you know, we are not genius, we just take our time to work, you know. I make a film each 5 years, and so I could start working with him 1 year and a half before the shooting. It never happened like this. I mean, often it's you make the film and you give the film to a composer, you know. For us, for me, it was really important that the actors, that we had the mood, you know, before, you know, that we make the trip, you know, making the film. So I went to Berlin, he came to my home, we were like working a lot, listening a lot of music and talking about the images, you know. I knew what kind of images we could do, you know, and so yes, the idea was to watch the music and to hear the image, you know, to arrive at some point that you don't know where the image ends and where the music starts, you know. It's really a sculpture itself, you know, everything related with the sound too. Yeah, and after, obviously, you know, we are really pretentious artists, and we were saying to each other, let's imagine how universe sounds, how angels whispers, you know, these arpeggios that we
at the end, particularly.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we were looking for transcendence, you know, and electronic music, I think it's the fact that you don't know the source of the music is like on the dance floor. You only see the sound system. You are just in front of the sound. This ambiguity make you feel estrangement, I think, you know. Electronic music is vibration. It's electronic, it's air, it's electronic vibration, like now.
Yes.
So yes, it was great. We were shooting on 50 millimeters, much of the film. We tried to be like the normal eye, and I think you are the regular size. I wanted to shoot with cinemascope lenses, anamorphic lenses, but for 60 millimeters there are not too many, and we were afraid of going to the desert. When we were like on the tracks shooting, I was like saying the drivers go, 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 go. So the Crickman, I know it suffers a lot in my shootings. So we were afraid, you know, if you have a problem with the lenses, if they are really specific lenses, you don't have how can I say, a backup? A backup, you know, it's risky. So we were conservative, and we did well. We did well.
It was beautiful.
Even having really simple lenses, we had problems. So imagine the big ones. I have to tell you that on a really instinctive way, we have a memory on us, that a ceremony that we were doing for thousands and thousands of years, that is dancing on a dance floor, you know. that was a ceremony in most of culture. This is still a ceremony, you know. And why is a ceremony? Because the body, when you dance, is connecting with a kind of wound or soul, with both. And so you are connecting with your fragility and with your strength, depending of the day, depending of what your body needs to tell you. It's really is a really ritual space.
Yeah, it's like
dance
rhythmic.
floor.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a place where you feel things, you know, of your view of your ancestors, of the you are connected to the wound of the world. So imagine that I was doing the script, dancing in this place where everybody is so open. You know, imagine I was connected to something, to a big fragility, you know, and so that's important, you know, to remember, but this, you know, that we have to pray with the bodies, we'll say, and when we at the same time, you know, in some raves, the way people dance is not so cinematic, because, but we don't care. There is not a way to dance bad, you know. Everybody dances good. It's by the way, there is this poem from Rumi. He says, "Dance as nobody's watching you." You know, that's about to dance. You know, to really lose yourself. You know, to be danced by someone, but something else. You know. So when they are dancing, when it's not really cinematic, but they look inside. We look inside, you know, when we dance. Like here, a dance floor is like this space, this theater. Lights go off, and you think that you are alone, but you are not. We are not alone. There is a subtle connection between the people here. The energy is totally different than watching the film at home. So. When we were shooting that scene in the desert, you remember, you know, when they have this kind of ceremony, catharsis. I totally sure that all the actors, they were connected when they were dancing. They were connected. Their body were telling them, were making film something that was not related with the film. This is clear?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that they were really. We were making the film, but they were like constellating their families or their wounds or whatever.
It was
something
like
that we don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It was like intuitive for them. Like they didn't even.
They connect to something, and that's why this is powerful, that scene, you know, when. Also, you have to know that we were in our limits. We were shooting in the desert in July, after 6 weeks of shooting, you know. And this is that's art, raving, spirituality is about this, about going through your limits, you know. And when you are in your limits, bam, something emerges, you know, something from you, you know.
Thank you.
You can't escape, you can't hide, you can't. You are not under neurosis, you know. Life puts you. You are connected with yourself, and when you are on a desert, your being. Is telling you, if you make a mistake, you die. In a way, you are really focused on the desert. You know, you are really.
And I think that is extremely well made in the movie. You really feel constantly that you are on a tightrope of impossibility in the place, in the desert.
And when you are at zero, when you understand or you feel that you are nothing, is when the transcendence arrives. I don't want to interpret the film, you know, because everybody here interprets or feel a different thing, you know. I just can tell you that I was living 12 years in Morocco, so in a way, I went there because I knew that I had to grow in a different way than here in a Western country or in Spain. And I don't know, I just will tell you that when I see this train, when I see these people, if this train was coming here in Victoria Station or Liverpool Station, I will go on it. I feel serenity on it. We feel, I mean, we have our characters that they are dissolved in this mass of people, you know, and we see the wound everywhere. We see it in the faces. We see that the people struggle, but thanks to this, I think in a way we feel on them acceptation. So I don't know how will be the future, but when we are connected with our wounds, when we are there are no more flags, races, gender, social class, you know, when we are really fragile, when life really pushes us to connect with us, we are the same in a way, you know. We go on this train, humanity, and we keep going and dancing, hopefully.
Thank you, Oliver. This is an extraordinary movie. Thank you so much. Thank you.